Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting and hopefully to draw in some of those experienced painters to paint along with us. Today we're going to be painting baby roses. This is a purple rose. I don't know if you can really see it, but it is a purple rose. And as it gets older, it gets pinker. And then these are my little pink ones. And look at the colors on the backs of them and stuff. Aren't they gorgeous? The little buds. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. So that's what a baby rose is. It's tiny compared to the big roses that you see and that you would get. And somebody asked me, what's a good thing to paint them on? Jewelry is good. And I think you know that if you glue this, if you take a tile, the tiles come separate from the jewelry. But this is my baby rose on this jewelry. And you glue the little tile to one of these, you know, the 4x4 tiles. This is a broken one. On this side, the side that doesn't have the glaze, you can use Elmer's glue, and then it's easier to paint everything. Another thing that you can paint on is like light switches. I've got with these. I don't know if you've seen these. This is good for craft shows. A lot of people can rationalize buying these because they know where they're going to put them. And they also, can have hand-painted china in their house, but it's not real obvious, like in the bathroom or the bedroom or something. I learned from May Perkins, and now this is my first fire on the roses that we're going to do today. And I was going to put more around the edges, and then I thought, you know, the pictures of people are going to be in here, so you don't want to over clutter. I'm just going to do maybe a band around here, gold or pink or something. May Perkins, she's the only lady that could get through to me as far as how do you paint roses. And this is a piece of hers. I think it's beautiful. It's a little overdone. Let me say, May Perkins was a person that you would call more. She loved roses, and so they're all here. They're on the sides. This is if you wonder what it is, it's like a letter place where you put letters or bills on the back and on this side. But she showed me the method I'm going to show you for baby roses. For those of you that have bad eyes and go, oh no, there's like no way I can do roses, there's a couple of things I'd suggest to you. Now I know everybody says you should get one of these big things that has the light and the magnifier, and you can look down on it and you can see everything, and you need a real heavy base if you get one of these because they tip over easily. I bought this to use for my base for raised gold, and I have to tell you, this is not so much. First of all, the light shines on your china. Nobody tells you that, and so you get a glare back, and it's very difficult to work with. So my next suggestion, and the one I prefer, I was going to repair clocks when I retired. I wasn't going to paint china. And hi Sheila. And so I bought all kinds of clock repair stuff. And one of them, of course, was the visor that you wear. This is the single one. This is the single magnification. You put it on your head like this, and it tightens on the sides, and it moves with you, you know, wherever you look, it moves. It's great. And for those of you that maybe even need a little more help with the magnification, they also make a version like this, which has these little things that pop up and give you like 5 times or 10 times more magnification. I use these to paint jewelry when I'm having trouble seeing or when I want to put the detail on. So, and you can use, I have a good tensor lamp. They used to call them tensor lamps, but it's from IKEA, and it's one of those with the arm, and you can adjust it up and down. So I use that, and I use these, and it works really well. Okay. Colors that I'm going to use for the first fire are, I'm using this ugly pink, and it's not the pink I would normally use, but it's one that you'll be able to see, because I tried the pink I normally use, and you couldn't tell it was on the piece I was painting. Normally I would use like a pretty pink or real light, like a shell pink or something like that. And I'm using Pompadour. Now, a lot of times I just use Pompadour, period, and I put it on my brush and side load it, and that way I got like a light and a dark Pompadour. And you know, if you're new here, that side loading, well, full loading is when you put the brush in the paint and you pick up all the paint this way. Side loading you do like a C into the paint and only using one edge of your brush so that you get a dark to a light graduation on your brush. I'm also using chartreuse, warm brown green, and like I said, pompadour. So these are fairly simple colors. If you're a beginner, you should have no problem finding these. So I'm doing it on a tile because I thought it might be easier for you to see. And when I did this little these roses here, one of the things that I did was draw in kind of the direction I wanted things to go, because you don't want them to all go the same direction. You know, you don't want them to look like eyeballs looking at you, this top part here. You don't want that to be the situation. And you don't want them to just go straight the other direction. So you do want a little bit of variety. So what I do is I take a pencil. You can use a regular pencil. I use my China pencil. I really like this one. And I draw a little cup to represent the rose. I draw one this way. Yeah, you can see. And then I'll maybe draw one this way. And then the other little code I use, because I don't like to paint everything in if I don't have to. Now see, I looked at that and look at, if you put the bottom in and you put the little petals at the bottom, that's going to be too tight. That's another reason I do this. So then I would take this over this way a little more, like this maybe. Here, let me do it this way. Oh, that's still too close. This way, okay. And then if I decided I wanted leaves up this way and this way, I just put a line that reminds me, and I kind of try to curve it, and I forget. So that's the reason this is nice. You can wipe it off with your finger if you don't like what you did. And if you want to put a little bud in, you can do that, and that'll remind you that there's a little bud up in there. Alrighty, so that's kind of how I code my things out and get an idea of what I want. Now, if I want a wider one, I can make it wider. But doing it with the pencil will fire off. You won't have a problem. Alrighty, so I'm going to start with a little brush. This is a little brush, is it not? It's about 1/8 of an inch. It doesn't say on it what it is. It's metal ferrule, that's what we call these. And I'm starting with a really little brush for that reason. I'm side loading my pompadour because I'm doing the center of the rose first. So I'm going to do the little, you want to call it the eye of the rose, the center of the rose. I'm doing that first. And I'm just doing, there's strokes like this. Let me show you on the side, and bigger. See, I'm doing that. I'm doing C strokes across. But they aren't that big because this is a little rose, so I'm just doing little ones. And I'm doing a little one here too. If you want it longer or wider, you can make it wider. See, I can make it a little wider if I want. That's good, right? I come up and do the very top. I just keep kind of pulling it up this way. Usually, if you look at a rose, there's 2 or 3 petals around the top like this. So I'm just pulling out like 2 or 3 places, a little bit. You're going to cut into this using a Picopay eraser like this. So you'll see how this works. Okay, now I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm going to come down to below, and I'm going to full load with pink, side load with just a little pomp. And I'm going to start working on the petals that go around the bottom here. I always put one up here, one over here, one here, one here, one here. I usually put 5. You could just put color and then decide. Let me show you. I'll do both ways for you. So this is my way. I do it like this, and I leave the pompadour goes towards the bowl. So I've got my pink full load, pompadour side load. And I use my pompadour, and I'm still doing that same kind of stroke. I'm doing it like this. Oops, am I off too far here? This, but I'm just making it a little sloppier. See, bigger strokes to get that little, and then I might want to pull it around like this and just gently get rid of those strokes in it, because you don't really want it to have strokes. You really want it to be a smooth petal, okay? And let's see here. I'm going to put one down here. They'll overlap a little bit, so that's fine. Put one up here. And then my final one is right over here. And I bring it down this way a little more. And I would bring this one down this way a little more. Okay, now let's just gently pull these guys out all the way around. I'll pull it this way and this way, this way, this way. Okay, that's one way to do it. On this one, I will show you another way you can do it if it'll be easier for you. Everybody has their own way of learning, so whatever works best for you. And this one, I'm just going to put it all the way around. I'm not going to break it up into sections or anything. I'm just putting it all the way around. This might be easier for you, so let's try it both ways, and you can decide which one's. The key is to keep it teeny tiny. Let me pull it all the way around, okay? Like that. All right. Now you notice I didn't touch the bowl. And the reason I didn't touch the bowl is it's always hard to get a highlight on the bowl. One of the things that we're going to do then is add some of the color to the side we want shaded on that bowl. So I'm going to put, now my pink I told you is really dumb. I've got a side load of the pink on here. You're going to find the color is really weird, but there we go. And I'm just going to pull it over. See, can you see it? You really can't. Let me do a little more in the pomp here. See, that's why I thought I better use pomp, because it's not going to be easy to be seen. There. So you're only shading half the bowl. A lot of people, you know, you get hung up on that and having to wipe out stuff and what have you. It's easier if you just don't do the bowl until last, and then you can add the shading you want where you want it. You don't have to fuss. Especially if you're a beginner, that's kind of scary for you. I want this guy to be up a little more. There we go. Okay, so I've got my 2 roses on there, right? Alrighty. Now I'm the type that likes to put my leaves in before I do the cutting on my roses. You don't have to do it that way. You can do the cutting on your roses and then do your leaves. The only reason I like to put my leaves in is sometimes when you cut, you're going to cut back into the leaf, and you'll use the leaf to help shape your rose. So let me show you what I mean by this. I'm taking a full load of chartreuse, side load of the warm brown green. The leaves that I make are pretty simple. The leaf comes this way. Oh, you know what? Let me just do it completely in warm brown green so you can see it. It comes this way across. Stop. You can even push back a little bit and you'll get that little line. Can you see that little line? I'll bring it up so you can see the little, well, sometimes it's better not to bring it too close. Okay. Then you come from the middle out. Then you flip it around. I know this is the weird part. And on the side you just finished, you're just going to make a little point. That's a rose leaf. Okay? That is not difficult. It's difficult to remember to turn it around, but I'll do it a couple of times for you here and you'll see. So these are the baby roses. And because I've decided I want these going this way, I might also draw in which way I want the leaves to go. And the reason I do this, I'll do it dark so you can see it. I wouldn't normally do it this dark, is because I find that if I, here, there. I find that if I don't do the leaves, that what ends up happening is I forget to curl them. See, if I put that in like that, that reminds me to curl them that direction. These up here, I want to have them go this way from the, right from there, and then this way. So you can do this and it will fire out for you. So let me show you with these guys how it shapes the rose, okay? I'm going to start here. Now you have to tuck. See how I'm tucking the end of that under that part of the rose, because you want to make sure it's tucked. Oops. And then you come across. So this is this. Oh, that's kind of big. This is this leaf. Let me go over here. I lost the direction there for a minute. This is this leaf. And then I'm just going to come and do the edge. Here, let me do a better one for you. That one was kind of wonky because I was so worried about tucking. Where's my... I love these stubs. These are those cardboard, my granddaughter calls them blending things, but I love them because you can use them a lot of different ways on this, and they don't leave a residue. So there, okay? And then I'm going to come up here like this. There we go, okay. And here, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to bring it down so it's a little bit behind these. Next time I can take and put some more color back here if I don't have any color back in this section between the two. So don't worry about that right now if it happens. Don't get quite that dark. Okay. Now another thing I like to do is take my chartreuse, mix it with a little of my pompadour, and you get a very interesting color. I do the side, I do the full chartreuse and the side of pompadour. Oops, I'm not getting the full chartreuse here. Here we go. Oh, am I in the way? I don't want to be in the way. And then you come up this way. And remember, your finger is probably your best friend on some of this. And I can do one here. And see how that reminds me to flip it down a little at the end? If I didn't have that there, my leaf would look perfectly straight. It wouldn't look like I did anything special with it. There we go. And we'll put one over here. I'm going to speed it up a little. You come down to the middle, middle over, turn it over, and on the side you just finished, you just put your little edge, your little finish, your little point. Here, oh, I don't want to be too much in the way here. Here, here, flip it, here. Wipe off anything you don't want. Sometimes you have too much paint on your brush, that's okay too. Here, here, so it's to the middle, middle to the end, and then just put the point on. And I'm using these colors because I think you can see them a little better too. Here, here, here. Now, you notice I left a little bit of light in there. On this one here, do you see the light I left? I'll pull it up just a little bit so you can see. I did that intentionally because what you want to do is have some kind of light on these, you know, just like you do anything else. You want to highlight. Okay, now we're going to go back to, almost back to the roses. Let's do the rosebud. I'm going to take a full load of pink, side load of pomp, and I'm just going to do the rosebud. It's tinier at the top, bigger at the bottom. You can do a little bit of this in the top if you want. I'm going to have it too dark. I got to pat it off here. There you go. If you want it to come all the way up, you can do that too. Whatever you want. You put just a little bit of the dark in the middle, they'll know that's a bud. Okay? And then the rest of this I would finish out with my liner, which we will in a minute. Okay, now it's Picopay time. Woohoo! All right. You can do your rose any way you want. That's why I say if you have pictures of roses out in the yard, or you have something close by that has pictures of baby roses, it's always a good idea, because then that way you have something that you can look at to give you ideas of how to cut. If you screw up the cut, you know how you got there. Just put some more paint back on. Okay? So I start at the top. And I just do that, that. Here, let me bring you down a little. Let's see, maybe I can bring you in a little. Because I don't know if you can see this as well as I'd like you to. Let me see if that works better. Oh, much better. Okay. So I did this. And now I'm going to do another one here. And then I'm going to work my way down into the bowl. You just do the top of the petal. Think of that as looking at the top of the petal. What you're going to do is take a little color off of that to make it look more like a little petal. There. There's that side. Ta-da, ta-da, ta. I kind of overdid it just so you can see how they look. This side, I'm doing this, and then I'm coming in here. This is the base. The base is where you want to aim for. All your petals should come to the base. Okay? Where's my pencil? This is the base. And on this one, the base will be here. Okay? Just so you can see. Okay, I'm up here now. You see why I wanted to put the leaf behind it? Because then I have this already cut out. And I'm coming down towards that point, right? I'm going to come around here, come in towards that point, and then the last one's down here. Now I still have to do this side, right? I'm going to do this. I might do one there. Okay, now I know it looks a little dumb. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. I'm going to put a little oil on a clean brush. So I'm cleaning my brush to make sure there's no green on it. I'm putting just a little oil on the tip. And I'm going to start going back in and gently pulling these down. And I'm just going to brush along that line gently to get rid of it. Okay, now I'm coming over here. Gently brush them in. See how I'm doing that? It's amazing, isn't it? I've got this is my stump. I'm just using that around the edge where I may have pulled out a little too much. Down here, I'm going to do it. See, now here, I need to leave the shadow there and on this side. So I'm going to kind of pull from this end if I can. There we go. This I'm just going to leave kind of buried because actually I want this rose to be on top. And here, and here. I'm going to take the stump and get the bad edge off of this here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's that guy. And I think I want this side to come down more like that. So let me get my brush. I'll pull that dark over. And then I can put back in some of those. There we go. So there's one. Alrighty. And then on this guy, I'm going to do the same thing. If you want to put color behind it, you can do that. I know this is a bright color, but It's the only blue I had that was close. And you can wipe it off and you can continue to fade it out. And then eventually, you know, if you're doing the whole plate or what have you, or the whole top of the thing in this, you could do that. If you do put the color behind it or around it, when you wipe out, it'll be easier. You'll see more of your wipeout. So we have here, I told you these are formula roses. You're not going to see much difference in the way I do my formula rose, because these are formula roses. I just do kind of the same thing over and over again. I'm going to pull up that side a little more. I like that. This guy's over here. I'm aiming for that arrow. This guy was that one. So this one's going to be, hang on. There. You can make them rounded or you can make them squared. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's get some real color here and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Nah, this is a better spot, okay. Okay. You can make a petal rounded like this. It's kind of thick paint, like this. Or at the bottom, you could square it off like this. You could even square this off if you wanted. You could square this side off if you wanted. You'd have to go up a little, over a little, and then down. So it depends what kind of a look you want. I like the softer look, so I tend to do the rounded ones. But every once in a while, when I get down to the bottom down here, because, see, this already sort of lends itself to being squared off. Where does it end? Oh, right here. See that? I might do that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! And then you always want to put a little something, because you know the petals fold down. And so you want to make sure that you have a little something running across the middle to show that they're folding down. So you could do this, and you could do this, okay? And then we take the brush again, and we're just going to pull down a little, just to soften those. These I kind of like to leave kind of harsh, as long as there aren't any lines on them, so. I may have to pull a little this way too. There we go. I'm always wiping my brush in between. Lost that. There we go. This guy's going to be on top of this guy over here. And then if you need to darken these, you can go back in and get the color and just add it. That's all there is to it. You don't have to be the queen of roses. You just need to start painting roses, and a little bit at a time, and eventually you'll get it. And start with something simple. Start with a necklace where you have to put one rose on it. You know, like this. You don't have to do a lot. Just do a necklace. One rose. That's all it is to, all there is to it. And then work your way up. And do it for somebody who's going to think it's wonderful. Like a grandchild, a young, you know, someone who doesn't paint, a young person, because they love that kind of stuff. Do a ring, you know, get it. I think there's no reason these should be difficult. There's just no reason that roses need to be difficult. It's a formula rose, true. And like I said, the bud is just an oval, and you put a little dark in the middle of it. How hard is that? And the leaves are easy. They really are. You just need to practice everything. That's just the way it is. But I think the leaves are pretty easy. And if you add a little red to them, then it looks like you know what you're doing, and it makes it look a little bit different. And so pick up those brushes, keep painting. See you next time. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.